You know that is just, because for every issue, that was just diplomacy. Some people will say that was just being diplomatic, because for every argument, there would also be a counter-argument. Whether or not we like it, we're a signatory to the ICC statutes, and President Bashir, assuming he was our guest, we could have also argued that we cannot give up a guest whom we invited in good faith and who came to see us. I mean, there will always be an argument.
No, that will not be valid.
It's not less an argument. But I'll take you back to the beginning when you talked about the United States, wanting to build a new basis for a relationship. And it would seem that from what you've chronicled, Nigerian interests tend to change with the leaders that are the helm of affairs at that time. And that also influences sometimes United States policies towards us. But somehow, too, it would seem that they have been constant in terms of what the United States as a country, as a state, wants from Nigeria and even wants from Africa. Do you think that there is any way we can build that sort of constancy, too, in terms of how we relate with the United States? And that it shouldn't depend heavily as to who is, on the seat, on the saddle at a particular time?
I think I appreciate your new line of thinking. The issue is that what the U.S. wants from Nigeria, they are not necessarily different from what Nigeria wants from the United States. Now, first of all, what is it that the United States wants? Advancement of democracy in Nigeria, prevent Nigeria from being an amphitheater for terrorism, and then protection of U.S. oil interests in Nigeria. Those are the three basic areas of concern.
U.S. oil interest, U.S. still has oil interest in this country?
We still have many U.S. companies operating directly and indirectly. The mere fact that it is argued that the United States is not importing much of our oil does not mean they don't have oil interest. What is it that the U.S. is doing in the Gulf of Guinea that we are talking about at the level of Africa? It's oil is there. You want to push it down to the 2-mile corridor towards the Calabar area, problem in the Bakassi, all those things. What are they doing there? That area, the Calabar area, estuary, it is the richest in shrimps in the world. The richest area, going closely towards the Gulf of Guinea. Record has it that the Japanese had a vessel, they catch fish, in fact fishes, that area, can them in their vessel, and then resell to us in the same place. So it's a strategic area of those things. The Americans are interested there. Why are they struggling there?
What should we be doing to ensure? Okay, finish the line. Right. I was going to ask, because we don't know also that during the last World Economic Forum for Africa, China was here. They indicated a very strong interest, not just in Nigeria, in Africa. In fact, I think someone was telling me whether they have direct flights now to Nigeria. So they are also an economic interest. What should we be doing to ensure that we also have countries who are fighting over us to have their own interest, our own economic interest promoted as well?
Yes, I agree with you. Look, Nigeria is a very beautiful damsel, a very beautiful girl. And there can be many, many suitors in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, at any time. The issue is that, as you rightly pointed out, the Chinese are actively in more businesses in Nigeria than the United States as of today. And the reason cannot be far-fetched. Reason one, there are no conditionalities attached to Chinese loan assistance in whatever form. They are easy. Reason two, they are on ground living like Africans, living like Nigerians. All right? The Chinese can sit down in the marketplace and eat edikaikon and eat amala, there, the British, the Americans will not go to the market and do that one.
I think the next step now will be to speak Ibibio.
Precisely. Please look, we have 2 Chinese currently at the Institute of International Affairs on exchange program. One of them, Huawei, has a Nigerian name, Salamatu. The other one calls himself Habib. Salamatu has studied Hausa in his university, Zhejiang Normal University, before coming.
In China?
In China. The Institute of African Studies. They are with us now carrying out research. Now, from September 2015 in their university, they are teaching Yoruba and Igbo. Already Hausa is a course program there. That is to let you know that the Chinese already are preparing for global leadership. They are competing seriously with the Americans. It's just like one Dr. Zakharin of Russian origin, is a French. She studied Yoruba in the then Obafemi Awolowo University. She did her first degree, master's degree, PhD in Ife. In fact, I do not know of any Yoruba man claiming originality that can claim to know more than this French woman. She's teaching Yoruba in France right now. So, in the same way, the Chinese, as you see them, there's nothing they are not doing. Right, go to Chinese market.
So the relationship with the Chinese is more economical than the relationship with the Americans?
Yes, of course.
More on the economy. But let me pull out this other part of it. There are those who are wondering about the timing of this visit. Why the president will be going now to America with issues in country that should be taking his attention more. Why do you think this trip is about now?
I think timing in international relations is one of the most important dynamics in securing, the goodness in a relationship. When you have the opportunity and you don't take it, you have missed the road. The reason is simply that interpersonal relationship is the most critical. The most critical, especially in policy making. For instance, in this visit of PMB, it is expected that he will meet his old classmates, 1994 or 1984 War College. Now, there's no way his classmates will not become the summoner, will not be the one to plead for him, to say this time, look, the Americans will want to come to Nigeria for different reasons. The government will make use of his classmates over there. He too, as Buhari, will now make use of the same classmates to make a case for Nigeria.
So at the end of the day, what do you expect him to come back with?
Well, it all depends on the negotiations. If they discuss well, if the environment is conducive enough to make a case for Nigeria, he will come back with the promised support for anti-Boko Haramism in Nigeria. If the circumstances are normal, there will be a new goodwill. With goodwill, you can do a lot. We are waiting for the details to see who says what, under what context, and what agreement. But for now, The beauty of the whole visit is that the environmental conditionings, all right, are good. And we are taking advantage of that.
So do you see, you were answering your test question, you said something about the timing of the visit, and you believe that this is a good time.
Yes, precisely. That's the point I'm making.
We're striking now that the iron is hot.
Yes, precisely.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, precisely. Okay. I agree with you.
And do you see in future that, you know, our interest in America will get a little more institutionalized, depending less on individuals at the helm of affairs? Do you see that happening anytime soon?
Later, not soon. The reason is this. Everything in America is institutionalized. Everything in Nigeria currently is interpersonal driven. That's the difference. Now that we are now laying a foundation for the takeoff of a new administration, this timing is good. So if we now factor in the institutional dimensions, we begin to grow with its development.
All right, that's where we'll have to leave it. Thank you very much indeed, Professor Bola Akinterinwa, Director General of NIA, for giving us your thoughts this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.